Have you noticed how marriages are struggling, kids feel confused, and homes feel divided lately? It's easy to blame culture, but have you ever wondered if there's something deeper going on? From the very beginning, family was not a human idea. It was God's idea. In Genesis 2:24, it says, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." That's not just a verse, it's a plan. Marriage is meant to start something new. Before there were governments or laws, God created a family. So family isn't something people invented. It's part of how God designed life to work. So if family really is God's design, then what happens inside your home really matters. The tension, the silence after an argument, the way everyone slowly goes to their own room. It might feel small, it might feel normal, but your kids are watching. Your husband or wife feels it. And what feels small today can slowly become normal tomorrow. And once something unhealthy becomes normal, it's very hard to fix. And that's exactly why the family becomes a target. Because if you weaken the home, you weaken everything connected to it. Look at what's happening around us. Marriage keeps getting redefined. The roles of men and women are often ignored or mixed up. Instead of seeing their differences as something powerful that works together, culture sometimes treats them like they don't matter anymore. Children are growing up in systems where identity is questioned earlier than ever. Authority is often challenged. Parents are treated like just one opinion, instead of the main guide in their children's lives. Even entertainment shapes how people think. In many shows, fathers are portrayed as foolish, immature, or unnecessary. Commitment and responsibility are made to look boring, restrictive, unimportant. And when people watch that long enough, especially children who don't always separate fiction from real life, those attitudes slowly start to feel normal. None of this is random. When structure changes, stability changes. When roles become unclear, responsibility becomes weaker. And when responsibility becomes weaker, the next generation feels the impact. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. If the enemy wants to affect the future, he starts with the family. At this point, someone might say, isn't some basic conflict just normal? And that's a fair question. Conflict happens in every home. Disagreements are part of relationships. Stress is part of life. No family is perfect. Money problems, busy schedules, different personalities, all of these can create tension. That's part of being human. So yes, some conflict is normal. But when conflict is never solved and negativity becomes normal, it creates cracks in the home. And if no one fixes those cracks, they slowly get bigger. That's when real damage begins. Okay, this doesn't mean every disagreement is a demon. Look, not every argument represents some large, evil influence at work. A lot of the time, you're simply exhausted. Emotions take control of us. It happens. However, if you keep ignoring resentment, if your schedules get so packed that you stop making time for each other, or when ego slowly starts pushing out kindness, that's the moment things begin to change. That's when the mood in the house shifts. That's when it's time to notice and do something about it. So how does the attack usually happen? It's not some big explosive scene. No shouting matches, no slammed doors. Most of the time, it's quiet, almost invisible. It doesn't tear things apart in a single night. Instead, it slowly wears down the foundation, little by little. And honestly, you can start to recognize the patterns if you're paying attention. Here are 4 common attacks that weaken a family. Number 1, the attack on the marriage. Divorce has become increasingly common over the past decades. In many Western countries, divorce rates have roughly doubled compared to the 1960s and 1970s. In the United States, around 40 to 45% of marriages are estimated to end in divorce. In parts of Europe, nearly half of marriages eventually dissolve. Divorce is no longer surprising. It feels normal. And when something that serious feels normal, it changes how people approach commitment from the very beginning. When things get hard, many couples walk away without deeply working through the conflict. Effort feels exhausting. Understanding each other feels like too much work. The easier path, separation, becomes socially accepted. and emotionally justified. And when commitment starts to feel optional, perseverance begins to weaken. Number 2, the attack on the unity inside the home. Research in family psychology shows that constant, unresolved conflict creates long-term emotional distance between partners and between parents and children. Homes marked by repeated arguments, cold silence, or ongoing power struggles often experience lower emotional security. And over time, something subtle begins to happen. Family members stop trying to connect. They don't fight harder, they withdraw. The laughter decreases, conversations grow shorter. Everyone slowly retreats to separate rooms. And when emotional distance grows inside the home, people often start looking for comfort somewhere else, sometimes in unhealthy ways. It can show up as substance abuse, excessive gaming, pornography, or other pleasure-based escapes. When connection is missing, people search for substitutes. The home becomes a shared space, but not a shared heart. Number 3, the attack on parenting and children. Studies show that children and teenagers today spend several hours a day on screens, often more time than in deep conversation with their parents. And you can see the emotional effect. Some parents describe intense reactions when a phone is taken away: anger, shouting, even emotional withdrawal. That level of attachment reveals just how powerful digital influence has become. Parents can feel pushed aside, even blamed, when they try to guide their children through complex decisions. Instead of being the primary voice, they begin to feel like just one voice among many competing systems. And when outside voices become louder than parental guidance, authority weakens. And when authority weakens, confusion increases. Children need guidance. They need stability. They need loving correction, not just unlimited options. Number 4, the attack on the spiritual center. Modern families now spend significantly more time on screens than in shared spiritual or relational practices. Streaming platforms, social media, gaming, endless content filling the evenings. Everyone scrolling separately, everyone consuming individually. Family prayer becomes rare. Spiritual conversations become occasional. Church attendance declines in many regions compared to previous generations. Not suddenly, gradually. And when the spiritual center weakens, the home slowly loses its anchor. So what do we do? If this is real, if the pressure on families is real, are we just supposed to be afraid? No, let's not panic. Let's build wisely. Let's step back, breathe, and choose intention over fear. Let's take a look at 4 practical steps to protect, strengthen, and rebuild the family. Step number 1, recognize the fight, but don't panic. It's important to be aware and to honestly analyze what is happening inside your family. Pay attention to patterns. Is there constant tension? Is there growing distance? Is there repeated misunderstanding? When you can identify a negative pattern, you can interrupt it early. Problems caught early are always easier to solve than problems ignored for years. Family counselors often say that most serious breakdowns don't begin with one big dramatic event. They begin with small, repeated patterns: sarcasm, avoidance, emotional withdrawal, lack of communication. And when those small patterns repeat long enough, they turn into habits. And habits shape relationships. Awareness is powerful because what you notice, you can change. Step number 2, return to God's design. One of the most important steps is to go back and truly understand God's design for the family. We cannot fix what we do not understand. Husbands are called to love, to lead with humility, to protect, and to bring stability. Wives are called to build peace, to support with strength, and to help create unity. Children are called to honor, to listen, and to learn. When each role is understood correctly, the home becomes stronger, more stable. Families function best when roles are clear. Children especially feel safer when they know who is responsible, who leads, and where the boundaries are. Clarity creates security. Confusion creates anxiety. And men and women were never meant to compete. They were designed to complement. Leadership without love becomes harsh. Support without strength becomes silent frustration. But when love, humility, respect, and responsibility work together, unity grows. God's design is not about control. It's about balance. Step number 3, bring back simple habits. Strong families are rarely built on big, dramatic moments. They're built on small, consistent habits. Eating together regularly improves communication. Studies show that families who share meals several times a week experience better emotional health and lower risk behaviors in children. Praying together, even briefly, strengthens unity. Talking without phones present deepens connection. Small habits build strong foundations, and strong foundations protect what matters most. Step number 4, guard what enters the home. What enters your home eventually shapes your home. Conversations, media, habits, influences, they all create atmosphere. Guarding the home is not about control, it's about protection. Imagine a family where every evening ends the same way. Everyone in separate rooms, scrolling on their phones, watching different shows, barely speaking. Weeks turn into months. Slowly, deep conversations disappear. No one argues, but no one connects either. Nothing dramatic happened, but distance grew. What you repeatedly allow inside becomes part of the atmosphere. You cannot expect peace to grow in an environment that constantly feeds distraction or disrespect. Not everything that is available should be welcomed. Protection is wisdom. So here's what we've learned. 4 common attacks on the family. Number 1, attack the marriage, where commitment feels optional and giving up feels easier than fighting for unity. Number 2, attack unity inside the home, where constant tension or cold silence slowly creates emotional distance. Number 3, attack parenting and children, where authority weakens and outside voices grow louder than parental guidance. Number 4, attack the spiritual center, where distraction replaces connection and prayer quietly disappears. And here are 4 steps to rebuild and protect your home. Step 1, recognize the fight, but don't panic. Step 2, return to God's design. Step 3, bring back simple, consistent habits. Step 4, guard what enters your home. So now, it's your move. This week, choose one thing to rebuild: prayer, forgiveness, intentional family time, or healthy boundaries. Don't try to fix everything at once. Start with one step. Small obedience creates long-term change. If your family needs healing, ask God for help and take one real step today. And if you want support, comment "Pray for my family" and I'll pray with you. And one important note, if your home is unsafe or abusive, please seek help. God never calls you to stay in harm.